Everybody, I'm absolutely amped up. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, everybody. It's your guy, Wardy here. We have an amazing victory to break down. The boys showed up big time. Justin Hageman, Austin Warner, batting practice, and it does not matter. Reed Garrett goes 6 effing outs for you. Jeff McNeil, more like Jeff McBombs, more like Jeff McGold Glove. What did Jeff McNeil do? What a fantastic game. What an entertaining game. This is what you want on Independence Day, everybody. Let's get the hype going in the chat right here, right now. Spam those W's, everybody, as you guys chime in live on a replay as we're going to break down the latest New York Metropolitan victory here. This one, a massive victory by a final score of 6-5. The New York Mets are on a 3-game heater. Finally, the New York Yankees finally drop a game there for a change against this Mets team, and the boys are starting to buzz, even when they have absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, on the pitching end. There are a lot of key positives to break down today, folks. You all saw that web gem by Jeff McNeil in the 9th inning. Are you kidding me? Do you get that after he had the go-ahead bomb to give the Mets the lead the inning prior? Jeff McNeil, an absolute dog. What a fantastic game. This is why I told you guys I would have liked to see McNeil in the lineup yesterday and when the Mets won 3-2. But today, guys, we're going to break down everything that transpired. Innings 1 through 9 from tonight's victory. I want to see those W's spam right here, right now. This was for America. This was for Independence Day. Cue the screeching Eagles out there. Yeah! Oh my God, am I amped up to talk about this ball game. That is what we love to see. Finally, I can be excited about this Mets team. Yesterday was a good and needed series victory, but you needed statement victories. You needed a big game one finally there at Citi Field against Marcus Stroman, Aaron Judge, the Martian, the New York Yankees. Because the Martian, Judge, and Belly, they hit absolute bombs in this one, and home runs would carry through for sure. But what is most notable, everybody, is that while the New York Yankees had 4 home runs and the Mets 3, it's the Mets home runs that matters most because it came with runners on base, baby. A lot of big bombs that we're going to get into. How we feeling, everybody? Spam those W's right now. That is what your guy Wardy wants to see. We're going to break this all down in a second here. Shout out to our amazing sponsors at BetUS that has you covered for all of your sports betting needs. Make sure you guys bet responsibly. And also shout out to our great friends at SeatGeek. But folks, let's let it rip as we always do, especially after a big victory to break down, guys. We got to let it rip as we always do with the one, the only, the official WardyNYM post-game jingle, baby. Hype me up. Let's do this. Yeah. Oh my God, I clicked the wrong thing. I apologize. Let's go. Yes.
Postgame. Postgame. Calling all Met fans, come and join us now. Talking about this game and gonna break it down. It's Mets Postgame.
Shout out to my guys Greg and Jordan, as always, with the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. It's corny, but you absolutely love it, everybody. The same way I do my little corny dance after every big victory throughout the course of the 162, guys. And as we hop back into this, oh my God, what a game for Juan Soto, too. Can we please appreciate that for a second, guys? Like, are you kidding me? Look at this Mets offense. They got the job done. They did what they needed to do. The one and only was just a triple shy of the cycle that we're going to break down here in a second. What a ball game for Juan against his former team, against his former teammate. He went absolutely batting practice there on Stro. We saw Jeff McNeil again, a fantastic game for Jeff, and Brett the Hitman Baty, more like Brett Bonds Baty, baby. Brett continues to tear the cover off the baseball when the Mets have needed him to. Brett Baty continues to be one of the more clutch Mets hitters that they've had the past calendar month, and entering today's game, Brett Baty had the second highest team batting average with runners in scoring position out of all batters, if I'm not mistaken, in this Mets lineup. So a lot of positives to get into in this one, everybody. And mind you, this is while the offense did their thing, but the pitching certainly didn't do too much, at least to begin this ball game. Justin Hageman, we're going to break down more in a little bit what I liked versus what I didn't like about him, because there were some positives. Austin Warren became complete batting practice, and I like Warren, so that frustrated me. Brazo shutting down the door with 3 punchies for a scoreless 7th that we saw. Reed effing Garrett Just when you thought, who is going to pitch for the Mets should the Mets need a closer today? Who is going to be in there? Ryan Stanek isn't available. Edwin Sugar Diaz isn't available. But yet you mean to tell me the same overworked Reed Garrett, the same man that has been absolute batting practice for the past month and a half or so, you mean to tell me that we're going to rely on Reed? Not only do the Mets rely on Reed Garrett, but they got some of the best baseball out of him. What an absolute bulldog outing for Reed. How we feeling, everybody? Spam those W's in the chat as I see it. Shout out to all of our live members watching live on replay. Happy to have you in here, everybody. And all of our reoccurring subscribers, hit that like and subscribe button on your way in as we cover the Mets throughout the course of every single ball game in the 162. Sometimes we're a bit hot-headed like this. Other times we're a bit more cordial and we just have a nice, calm discussion. But listen, I love the Subway Series matchups. I always look forward to them. I love rivalries, even though some Yankees fans don't think there's a rivalry in there, and that's fine, even though I'm sure this loss is going to bother them more than it otherwise typically should, especially Jonathan Maspeth, the absolute, you know what, the ogre, as I would love to call him. If you guys know him on socials, I hope he was crying his ass home there after having a terrible day, either watching the game at home or actually being at Citi Field itself. But to all the schmuck Yanks fans out there that absolutely were trying to talk down on Juan Soto, calling him a bum, calling him this, calling him that, oh my God, what a beautiful slice of humble pie that was served up nice, fresh, and hot with some whipped cream on top, maybe a little sprinkles. There you go. Serve it all the way there in the Bronx, everybody, because they ate that up big time. Juan Soto absolutely teed off in this one. And not only was Juan Soto fantastic that I'm so excited to break down more on with each and every one of you, I cannot get over Jeff McNeil. And it's crazy that I'm saying this, because if you guys have been following the platform, you know far too well that I have been a Jeff McNeil, not a hater, but not a lover. Even as someone who's met Jeff in person, I have no personal ill will with him at all. I have not loved his fit on this team. However, this season, Jeff McNeil has been absolutely dynamo. You even had Wardy going at bat for him saying, victory. That is where we've reached now with Jeff McNeil. The defense is elite. The bat is clutching up, and he's hitting ding-dongs just when you need him to. Not too much, not too little. Just right. Just the way that those Bears like their porridge. Aaron Jacobs, great member with the $2 Hall, says, best part is listening to Yanks fans freak out. Oh, I know. Their sky's falling. Speaking of Yanks fans, I will be with the king of Yanks fans, Patrick Hennessy. You guys will see us there at Citi Field tomorrow, everybody. Look out for your short schmuck boy, Wardy. I'll be rocking my black Juan Soto Mets jersey. I'll be hanging out tailgating pregame for a little bit there with my guys Master Flip and others in the Mets community on X. I'll be hanging out with Giraffe Neck Mark, James Shiano, and plenty others there throughout the course of the ball game. Richie from Jets and Knicks Media, that many of you guys know as well. So be on the lookout for us. We cannot wait for what's hopefully going to be another electric day there at Citi Field between Frankie Montas and Carlos Rodon. Don't love the pitching matchup, but I didn't love the matchup today either, even with Stroh on the bump. The Mets still prevail in the end. So I'm not going to complain too much, right? Aaron, thank you for the $2 Hall. Pat W says with the $5 Hall, squirrel power, baby. You said it. Flying squirrel power is what we got to say, Pat. Soto, Mr. 3 for 4, and Baty bombs. This is a game, not a lock to even be competitive, but pitching kept us in it. Ben, don't break. Ben, don't break, baby. Juliet with the $2, not with the $2 Hall, I apologize. With the membership gift. Thank you so much for gifting Go Map to membership. I really, really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. You better bring us some win tomorrow. I'm going to do my best, Dave. I'm going to do my best. Thank you so much for the $5 Hall. Love you, David. I know I still got to get in the P.O. box. I'm a schmuck. I apologize. Things have been hectic lately. Brendan, love you, my man. How are you? Let's effing go. The balls are flying. So hype. The Yankees, happy 4th. Happy 4th indeed, baby. We got my guy with the $2. Jeff Mother effing McNeil, LFGM. Woo! Oh, baby, we are hyped up right now. Let's get a quick roll call to the chat, everybody. We're getting these comments, questions, and concerns, guys. After I answer these donations, I'm going to give you guys a quick roll call in the chat, and then we're going to break down this ball game. To all my replay viewers, the initial reactions I want to see from you guys in the comments down below. All the pros, all the cons, and everything in between. Your key thoughts from tonight's 6-5 4th of July Independence Day victory. They're at home over the New York Yankees. As we continue on from here, Dave says, where's Pat? Great question. Pat's probably having a great 4th of July and try to tune out his Yankees until tomorrow, until I'm going to be a menace all day long. Especially if the Mets play well tomorrow, it's his demise. If the Yanks play well tomorrow, then I'm going to just do my best to try to ignore him. Paul with the $2. Severino is due to pitch Sunday. The Mets are not going to trade for Severino to then make the start on Sunday. Wishful thinking, however. I appreciate the donation a lot, my man. I hope you are well. Sean MD with the $5. Yankees, what happened? I always been a Jeff lover. Your mic has been cutting in and out, by the way. I apologize if the mic has been cutting in and out. that is because I've been getting way too excited. So if I do have audio issues, guys, just remind me throughout the course of the show, and we will adjust it as it is deemed fit. All right, guys, thank you kindly for those donations. Now we got Kevin in the chat. Sway, how we doing? Son, how are you? Broken Jester, great member. How you? I'm sure you and your daughter are absolutely pumped right now. Christian, how are you? Going up the list. G Money, Andres, Kish, great member. Juan Diaz, great member. Son, how you doing? Mr. Jeets, how you doing? Eric Douglas, great member. Sean MD, great member. Sid D, Go Mets, great member. How we doing? We got Kevin Flores in the chat. We got Adorable Snowflake. What a name. Thank you so much for being a member nonetheless. Loud and clear, how we do, my friend. Happy to have you in here. We got Daniel Caps, great member. Rebecca Allen, great member. Sevi coming to Queens. That would be fun. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet on that front. I don't want the Mets to eat that whole contract either. How about you actually eat a little bit of it? You schmuck, that being in Fisher there in Sacramento. Ronald, how you doing? E. Crow, Michael K. Oh, Michael K's day's ruined. I mean, Juan Soto was productive against the New York Yankees. Remember, guys, Juan Soto's sad. Juan Soto only signed with the New York Mets because his family told him to do so. He himself had no interest in making it happen. That is obviously the iconic, the Cane, the Lion, and Michael K. talking down on us fleas, aka Mets fans, that actually are going to call out the nonsense, which is him thinking that everything that he hears throughout the industry is actually correct. You know, not always the case, my friend. George, how we doing? Paul, how are you? We're going up the list here. Mike Nixon, great member as always. Easy, how we doing? Victor, Juliet, Xavier Gonzalez, great member going up here. We got Choppy, we got Kevin, we got all you guys coming in live on a replay. Thank you guys again for hitting that like and subscribe on your way. And Dan, I love you more. Don't you worry about it, baby. I'm so happy to have you in here. Barry, how are you? If we lose, this is your fault, Wardy. I'm no 100%. There is a asterisk heading into tomorrow's game, guys. I'm on a 3-game losing streak at Citi Field, specifically where I'm going to be sitting. So there are a lot of things that could go wrong tomorrow. And if Frankie Montas is tipping those pitches again, you can blame him all you want, but feel free to throw the tomatoes at me. I'll take it to the chin. I'll be live streaming from Citi Field tomorrow, and the Mets get their absolute teeth kicked in. I'll be the first to call it out and rant about it and say how much I'm not looking forward to having to take my 2.5-hour ass back home after watching a disaster class at Citi Field yet again. So trust me, I don't want to be the bad luck charm, but I know that I kind of have been one as of late unintentionally. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, everybody. But again, if you want anyone to blame should the Mets not perform tomorrow, blame me. I will gladly take it. You want to know why? Because maybe, just maybe, if they show that, oh, I'm the problem, then if they go on a heater after the fact, then I'm not going to complain about it. So again, I just need the boys to get some consistent winning. With that being said, everybody, let's get into this, because as I mentioned, the Mets are absolutely buzzing right now, and they did not have the pitching in this one, like at all. Not nearly as much as at least you'd hope, everybody. And then when you look on the hitting end, and I shouldn't say that. They didn't have the pitching in the beginning. I'd like to clarify that. Bullpen absolutely nails with Brazo and Garrett. Can't get over what Reed effing Garrett did today. And then on the hitting end, everybody, it's led by Juan Soto. It's led by Jeff McHits, more like Jeff McBombs. It's led by Brett the Hitman, no, Brett Bonds Baty. It's led by all these key guys who are in the lineup. Even Ronnie Mauricio, who was productive yet again today. Lindor went over that we saw in the 2-hole, but it didn't matter. A lot to love, a lot to take away from this one, everybody. As the Mets out hit the Yankees today that we saw 10-8, and when performing with runners in scoring position, the Mets were solid again. This is a trend, everybody. I want to emphasize this because it's important. Something that the Mets have had a commonality that we have seen with their wins as of late is that they actually have been hitting fairly well with runners in scoring position. And their 2 victories in that 4-game split against the Atlanta Braves, the Mets hit fairly well with runners in scoring position. And their back-to-back wins, they didn't hit terrible with runners in scoring position. I think they were 2 for 5 yesterday, and today they're 2 for 5 again, leaving 6 on base. Listen, I will take that. Beggars cannot be choosers, right? And we have been dying. We have been truly begging for the Mets to find consistency with the runner and scoring position approach. They entered this series with the second to last team batting average in that regard, only trailing the effing Chicago White Sox. So something had to give, something had to change. And all that we need to see was Marcus Stroman and this Yankees team to get that little fire under our ass to get ourselves going from the pitching to the offense. So without further ado, everybody, let's break it down, because we do see here, everybody, when we take a quick look at the wild card standings, the New York Mets are still trailing the Philadelphia Phillies, but not by much. The Mets now have a 3.5-game lead for the first wild card spot at 51-38 on the season currently. Then you have the Milwaukee Brewers, the San Diego Padres, the San Francisco Giants, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cincinnati Reds, and the Arizona Diamondbacks all trailing right behind. It will not be long before that Mets team gets back in first, as long as they can obviously continue their winning ways. And I have no clue what's going to happen this weekend with a lack of pitching that this team has, an absolutely rocked bullpen, but certainly there are positives to take away from this victory, and we are going to appreciate that, everybody. The same way that we appreciate people that make this show happen today on a daily basis, not just the thousands of you guys watching live on a replay, but our amazing sponsors, especially SeatGeek, that has you covered all of your ticketing needs, everybody. If you guys don't know SeatGeek, listen up, because they have over 70,000 active... I can't even talk right now. Rerun. SeatGeek has over 70,000 active events to choose from, making them the #1 rated ticketing app in the game today for a reason. So whether you want Subway Series tickets for this weekend, or if you want comedy show tickets, concert show tickets, whatever you need in the ticketing space, SeatGeek has you covered. And why they are here as a channel-wide sponsor all season long is because of you, the viewer, utilizing our promo code WARDY10, link down below, for 10% off your next ticket purchase. Thank you guys so much for making an app that I've been utilizing well before they became a sponsor here, actually now a sponsor on the platform. Because what I love so much about SeatGeek is their grading system, 1 to 10, red to green, and color coordination. What that means is when you go to seek tickets there in the SeatGeek app, you guys will see if it's in the red and the more 1 through 5 on the range, it's not a good bang for your buck, and you should probably seek tickets elsewhere there in the SeatGeek app. If you guys want to be more in the 7 through 10 range in the green, then it's a great bang for your buck, and you should absolutely get those tickets there in the SeatGeek app. So again, guys, whatever you need on the ticketing front, SeatGeek will have you covered. Head over there, WARDY10, 10% off your next ticket purchase, link down below in the description, and shout out as always to SeatGeek for being an amazing sponsor on the platform. One final thing here, Pat Benson with a $5 holla, and the Yankees suck, give me a hell yeah. Oh, we haven't done one of these in a hot minute. In case you guys don't know the context behind this, anytime that we have a big victory, whether that's going to be over, did the jingle play again? Did I just make a mistake? Oh, no. Okay. I'm just making sure. Wardy, we demand to not know the wildcard standings. Wildcard is for fleas. Okay, Lounge, that's fine. I'll keep it away for a little bit. We'll play the jingle again, everybody, before we wrap up the show, as long as you ask nicely and remind your guy Wardy, okay? But final thing I have to say is that after a big victory, especially against teams that we love to hate, whether it's the Atlanta Braves, the Philadelphia Phillies, or now in the case of New York Stankies, we get Pat Benson with a don't know that states the following. If the Yankees suck, give me a hell yeah, everybody. So on 3, we have to do it in unison together. Spam in the chat as follows, everybody. We will say it on 3. A 1, a 2, a 3. Hell yeah! At least for tonight. We'll take it at least for today. I'm not going to complain too much. Listen, I just need the Mets to win this series. I don't even need them to sweep. I'm not going to, again, beggars can't be choosers. The Mets won 4 of their previous 14 games entering, yesterday's matchup against the Brewers. I would like the Mets to just find some consistency. That's all your guy Wardy is asking for here. So thank you guys again for hitting those buttons on your way in. Let's break down this ball game, because we saw here, everybody, this ball game starting the first. You had Marcus Stroman towing the rubber here against who? Against Justin mother effing Hageman. That's who. And to begin this ball game, Jason Dominguez, the Martian, absolute batting practice right away is Justin Hageman. He gives up a bomb right away there. His 7th home run of the season for the Martian, a batter who looks like he really might be the real deal once he gets in a true groove in his young career. And Dominguez, the guy's like an action figure. He's kind of scary to look at, I'm not going to lie. And he makes it an early 1-0 lead there for the Yankees. Then Aaron Judge, who, as a surprise absolutely nobody, hits a home run to go back-to-back. This is the first time since 2021, everybody, since Jared effing Eichhoff was towing the rubber for this Mets team. And no, I'm not joking. That's in fact correct. Since Jared Eichhoff towed the rubber for a Mets start in 2021 is the last time the Mets gave up back-to-back home runs to begin a ball game there at Citi Field. And that's exactly what happened. Aaron Judge smoked his 32nd home run this season. Again, I'm not shocked by that. If you guys didn't think that Judge was going to at least have 1 home run this series, then I got a bridge to sell you. We know that that is at minimum going to happen for the best home run hitter in all Major League Baseball. Even though Cal Riley just hit not 1 but 2 ding-dongs on Independence Day. Again, cue the screeching eagle. Yeah! And just like that, I don't even know what the hell I was just saying there. But Cal Riley, absolute dog. He's now up to 35 home runs this season. Big dumper. And he's a catcher. Oh, if Alvarez ever becomes anything like that, I will cry with tears of joy. As we get on, after the first 2 home runs back-to-back, that's all she wrote. Justin Hageman gets out of that. He gets 3 outs then on Belly, on Giancarlo, and on Chisholm. We then get to the bottom of the first, everybody. And the bottom of the first, Brandon Nimmo leads off big time with a Nimmo double. His 16th double of the season to pair with his 17 home runs, and Nimmo has been the extra base hits god when called upon. With 1 away after Lindor grounds out, everybody, the one and only Juan Soto is finally trying to have his big moment here against this New York Yankees team. And mind you, Juan Soto, outside of getting walked a boatload, really it wasn't all that productive in the Mets' previous series that they had that we saw this year against the New York Yankees, this time at Yankee Stadium. Fast forward to present day, everybody. We see Juan Soto facing his former buddy there. I mean, still buddy, but former teammate, rather, Marcus Stroman. And right away, 4 pitches, cutter upstairs, sayonara, it's out of here. That dead center, more center opposite field bomb for Juan Soto gives the Mets a tied ball game. 2-2 just like that after the early 2-run deficit, because I was not feeling good early. This felt like it was yet another situation, sadly, where we were going to see the Mets go down early and kind of roll over and not be able to get out of it. But thankfully, guys, it's a new month. It is not the June swoon Mets. It is hopefully the jovial or the joyful July for this New York Metropolitan team, and they're off to a red-hot start here. And Juan Soto going oppo for his 21st home run this season. That was, mind you, 393 feet. That was an absolute no doubter of an opposite field home run. 105 off the bat there, off of Marcus Stroman, everybody. And as we were hearing in the great broadcast by SNY between Gary, Keith, and Ron, and certainly Steve Gelbs today, is that Juan Soto's ability to hit for opposite field power is slim to none. As Brandon Nimmo has raved about it, and other Mets players in the organization currently, he just makes so many things happen that are usually flyouts there on the warning track. Juan Soto's going to find a way to still poke that for easily north of 400 plus feet, and he did that right here to tie this ball game. Juan Soto ties at 1-1, everybody. 2-2, I meant to say. I apologize. And then that does it there, because we see Jeff McNeil then get on with a 2-out hit by pitch. Luis Torrens rips a single against his former team, because Torrens tends to do well against the Yankees. We've seen that, and that does it then there for the inning. The Mets are not able to produce more, but they do find themselves in the, not lead, but they tied the ball game just a half inning after they were down 2-0. That, in my opinion, is a great early counter, and that is why I felt confident the Mets winning this ball game, even with the pitching being their demise, because when they rally back, we know this thing about this Mets team. When they have played their best baseball this season specifically, what do the Mets do? They do not roll over and die the way that they did the past 3 weeks. What they do is when they are down by 1 or multiple runs, they get runs right back a half inning later, at absolute worst inning later. Look at all the key victories the Mets have had this season when facing a deficit, and I promise you, in at least 90% of those victories from the Mets, they rallied back a half inning to a full inning after initially being down. So that was the early sign that this could be an important game for the Mets, where they actually are favored on the offensive end, that they're actually breaking out more than even what the Bronx Bombers do. But the Bombers still came to bomb big time, because as we continue this one, everybody, we would thankfully get a clean 1-2-3 there for Justin Hageman, as he would get a strikeout at Anthony Volpe to end the inning. In the bottom of the second, we would then see a 1-2-3 for the Mets, as Mauricio goes down, Tyrone goes down, and Nimmo goes down, all in order there. At the top of the third, another 1-2-3 there for the Yankees, in the sense that they went down from DJ to Jason to Judge, back-to-back strikeouts as well, or I should say 2 out of 3 of those at-bats there were strikeouts in the end, and they were all thanks to that cutter that we saw, especially on that outside corner. Hageman had some generous calls. This umpire was an absolute schmuck today. The only reason why I haven't brought it up yet is mainly because of the fact that I'm still on such a high for the Mets winning this ball game, and the way that they did that overshadowed what was a continued problem the entire ball game, not just for the Mets, but for the Yankees too. We had Helen Keller behind the home plate today, guys. I don't know if you know her or not, but she was not calling the baseball game all too well, and because of that reason, I myself, like many of you too, were frustrated to watch this ball game. So many calls were either balls for strikes or strikes for balls, and nothing was in unison whatsoever today. Did not love what I saw there. Again, I cannot wait for the automated strike zone, cannot wait for the ability to challenge these umpires' calls and put it on the big screen and call those schmucks out for thinking that their rules overpower the game today. I know it's not easy to be an umpire. I also know that you're in a very protected players union. I also know that until we get actual changes at the major league level, regardless of what you do or don't do as a productive umpire, nothing's going to likely happen to you unless you find yourself in the gambling space the way that we just lost Hoberg entering this season, when he was notoriously known as one of the better game callers across all umpires available in Major League Baseball. Just don't get in betting and you should be all right. But as we continue on from here, everybody, in the bottom of the third, we would see then Juan Soto rips himself a 1-out double. And Juan and Oli, he's sensing the cycle early. He understands that it's not easy to leg a triple, but it ain't gonna be a lack of effort in the case of Juan Soto today. And Kevin, I appreciate that. Mark Brooks, how we doing? $2 holla. Thank you, Jeff, and the others. Absolutely, Mark. Love you so much, Mark. I hope you and your family are doing fantastic. I know it was absolutely terrible what happened with you over a year ago, but I'm really happy to see that you are not only greater spirits, but I'm assuming that you're doing better now. So, Mark, I hope you're doing the absolute best, my man. Happy to have you in here as always. Great member, great part of the community here on the WardyNYM platform. As we continue on, though, after the one and only Juan Soto rips his 15th double of the season, Pete Alonso, the Polar Bear, drives him in, everybody, with a nice single. And you want to know what Alonso has done so well with driving and runs? It's not only pulling baseballs left, but spreading for all fields, whether it's left, to the right side every now and then, but especially up the middle. Alonso's done a very good job of that I've noticed as of late, and I appreciate that. And that gave the Mets at the time a 3-2 lead, which was huge because that was a nice clutch one-out single there with runners in scoring position for Alonso, who, in case you guys don't know, has been far and away the most productive hitter for the Mets for runners in scoring position so far this season. But that does it there for the inning, and the Mets are up 3-2. It wouldn't last long, however, everybody, because in the top of the fourth, Justin Hageman serving up batting practice again. Cody Bellinger, who absolutely killed this Mets team last time they played each other there at the Bronx Zoo, or should I say Yankee Stadium, rather, and Belly rips a belly bomb, 13th bomb of the year, everybody, and that ties the ball game 3-3. But you know what? In the case of Belly, it's a bit easier for him to hit a belly bomb off of Justin Hageman when he throws him a cutter right down the pipe there at 87 miles per hour. When you get a meatball, you're going to eat it up for breakfast. And in the case of Mr. Cody Bellinger here, he didn't just eat it up for breakfast, but he ate it up for, I say, a lunch or an early dinner, given the game start today was around, what was today, 3 p.m., 3:10 Eastern? I digress. Jazz Chisholm ripped himself a one-out single, everybody, but that did it there for the inning. That would be Justin Hageman's final inning of work today, or just about at least as he would begin the fifth inning. As we see in the bottom of the fourth, however, everybody, Ronnie Mauricio grounds into a double play after Brett the Hitman Baty got on with a single. Tyrone Taylor then gets on with a walk, and Brandon Nimmo strikes out swinging for a clean inning of work there for the Yankees. In the top of the fifth, we see Anthony Volpe fly out. DJ LeMahieu then gets on with a one-out single, and that does it there for Justin Hageman's day. Hageman kept the Mets in this ball game even while he was giving up the long ball. And here comes Austin Warren. And mind you, I like Austin Warren. He's one of those relievers I actually wish the Mets have utilized more so far this season. He's looked good in flashes, but Austin Warren against the Martian Jason Dominguez today, the winner, unfortunately, is going to be Jason Dominguez. And this was a massive bomb. This was a bit deflating at the time. I didn't think the game was over, but I was deflated when it happened because it was a sinker on pitch 5 right down the pipe. What do you think is going to happen at 94 miles per hour? Jason absolutely blasts one that we see that to left field, going opposite field. A 2-run oppo ding dong, doing his best Juan Soto impression is Jason Dominguez here, his second bomb of the ball game, and that gave the Yankees at the time a 5-3 lead, folks. From there, we would see nothing else transpire because even though that Aaron Judge got on with a walk and with a single, and Giancarlo Stanton got on there with a 2-out walk, Jazz Chisholm would be called out on strike 3 there to end the inning. And the fifth inning, everybody. And Sharon, thank you so much for the $5 holla. You're the best 40. What a win for us that. So it was a fantastic win for this Mets team, Sharon. Thank you so much for the donation. You are the best, my friend. I just appreciate getting a chance to chop it up and break down my favorite team with each and every one of you guys for a living on a daily basis. Thank you guys so much for all the endless support. As we continue on from here, though, folks, we would see the one and only Juan Soto rip himself a one-out single. Again, he wants the cycle. He is now just a cycle away. How can he get to the cycle, rather? It's by hitting himself a triple. Juan Soto got on with a single here, though. Then we see an Alonso fly out, a Jeb McNeil foul tip for his strike 3, and that does it there for the inning. And the sixth inning, everybody, we see Paul Goldschmidt ground out. We see Ascaro get on with a walk, and then Anthony Volpe does what he does best, and that is by grounding into double plays to end the inning. At the bottom of the sixth, guys, Ian Hamilton comes in to relieve Marcus Stroman, and then we get a one-out ding-dong for Brett the Hitman, more like Brett Bonds Baty. And what I love so much about Brett Baty right now, guys, is his ability to continue to clutch up. Baty has been swinging the bat much better as of late, and he's done exactly what we need him to do. Not too much, not too little. He's been just right. And Baty ripped himself a slider, 87 right down the pipe, literally middle, for a no-doubter of a home run. His 9th home run of the season, everybody. Brett Baty at home has also performed very well this season versus his road splits are nearly as good. A 370 average there on the distance and just around 100 miles per hour off the bat. At the time, that made it a 5-4 New York Yankees lead, but the Mets were crawling back. You knew that they were far from out in this ball game. And Ronnie Mauricio followed up that home run there with a single of his own, and you have a runner on with 2 away for Tyrone Taylor, who unfortunately would fly out for the second out of the inning. I meant to say 1 away there, everybody. Then Tim Hill comes in, the southpaw, to replace Ian Hamilton, and he's facing Brandon Nimmo. And then we see everybody, Brandon Nimmo would get on, but it's because Roddy Mauricio would be out there on the throwing error by Jazz Chisholm, and that does it there for the inning, everybody. So we would see him get there. Nothing else happens, however, and that does that. Roddy got caught, and then we get to the top of the 7th, everybody, and the top of the 7th, we would see Huascar Brosban come in, and Brosban needs a bounce back outing. Brazo needs to get more in a groove. We need Brazo to clutch up in a fairly high leverage situation, and given the fact that it was a 1-run ball game in the 7th, I would say that this was a decent leverage spot for Huascar Brosban to be in. And what does he do? He gets a strikeout on DJ LeMahieu. He walks Jason Dominguez, which I honestly didn't hate, even though what I thought was all the more impressive wasn't necessarily walking Dominguez, but the fact that he walked Dominguez to then strike out Aaron Judge. I mean, that is one of the biggest flexes you could possibly do. Got him on that nasty changeup, 91 down, just out of the zone there on Aaron to get him to bite, and that does it for the second out of the inning. And then Jason Dominguez goes on and he steals his 14th bag of the year there, slides into second without a problem, but it doesn't matter because Cody Bellinger would be called out on strikes. Huascar Brosban strikes out 3 for a scoreless 7th inning, and that was a huge inning there by Brazo, guys. As we continue on, the bottom of the 7th, we would see there Juan Soto would fly out just short there, potentially being another ding-dong fly short there on the warning track. Then we see Luke Weaver come in, and Luke Weaver would be this huge impact for the Mets the most positive way. The Mets needed one of these relievers to start to break. In the case of Luke Weaver, he was breaking. He gives up a walk right away to the polar bear. Mind you, there's 2 outs in this inning. All the Yankees need is one final out. You have 1 on, 2 away for Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil does what Jeff McNeil has done unbelievably well that we've seen over this past stretch, and really the majority of the season. That's been not only taking quality at bats, but also hitting massive and really clutch home runs from time to time. Jeff McNeil, everybody, absolutely blasts one to right. You all saw it. Upper decky, second decky. It's Jeff McNeil with his 2-run shot there on pitch number 6. 88 changeup down and in, and it's out of here. Golf swing, Jeff McNeil, and it works. That's why we don't mind Jeff golfing right now, everybody. 107 off the bat, 400 feet there for Jeff McBombs, and that gave the Mets a 6-5 lead. That go-ahead bomb would be the difference maker in this ballgame, everybody. And Hyper Mario, the great member of the $5 House, says, Yankees lose. Mets win. Soto, McNeil, Baty, 3 ding-dongs. Also getting out of work. I'm walking next to Jazz Chisholm. Dude looks so defeated. That is hilarious, Mario. Oh, if you guys don't know, Mario works at Citi Field, if I'm not mistaken. So he's just nonchalant is walking out with the doom and gloom Yankees as they're hanging their heads low on this 4th of July because they got their absolute teeth kicked in. And what was a back and forth, really entertaining ball game, but goes in the Mets' favor here by a final score of 6-5. But guys, even though the Mets won by that final score, let's emphasize how we got there, because after that McNeil home run, we still had an 8th and then a 9th inning to get to, and then the 8th inning, here comes Reed Garrett. He strikes out Giancarlo Stanton. He gets a 1-out single there for Jazz Chisholm, who we were just talking about. So there's 1 on, 1 away. Then it's a Paul Goldschmidt pop out. Then it's Ben Rice coming in there to pinch hit for JC Escarra. And listen, Lovelady was warmed up in the bullpen. We saw Carlos Mendoza ponder if he wanted to keep Reed Garrett in the ballgame or go to Lovelady. But this is where Carlos Mendoza deserves endless credit for his management today. If he pulled Reed Garrett from this ball game, the Mets would have had to dabble into someone even less reliant in that 9th inning should that have happened, right? Lovelady was set up and warmed up if the Mets want to utilize him in the lefty-lefty matchup for Ben Rice. But you know what Carlos Mendoza did? He said, we are going to entrust you right now, Reed. And as crazy as it is to say, because Garrett has been far from reliable as of late, he was nails today. And he really felt the moment. He gets a huge fly out on Ben Rice that we saw there to Tyrone Taylor, and that does it for the top of the 8th. And the bottom of the 8th, the Mets go down in order, setting the stage there for the top of the 9th, everybody. And here we go. It's Reed Garrett locking in. He needs to get some massive 3 outs. And what does he do? He gets a line out on Trent Grisham. He gets a huge ground out on not Jeff McNeil, on DJ LeMahieu. But it's Jeff McNeil robbing DJ of what would have been a single. DJ not getting through is why Aaron Judge could not get to the plate. And that would be tremendous because Jason Dominguez, who already had 2 bombs on the day, Reed Garrett's working a count. He gets the full 1, and he gets the ground out as he tops over that baseball to the right side. The Mets go on to win this one by a final score of 6-5, everybody. How are we feeling? Juliet in the chat says, I was screaming, no love lady. Yeah, I didn't want a love lady in that spot either, but I also was like, oh my God, Reed Garrett. I was kind of trembling in that moment specifically because I'm saying to myself, Reed Garrett's been bad in practice. He hasn't been able to handle things well at all as of late, but the Mets don't have any other options. Literally, who else were they going to go to, especially if they still were going to the ninth inning with the lead? You know, because of how everything played out. Again, Carlos Mendoza, huge props, deserves massive credit. What we saw today on the pitching end, guys, was just nuts. Justin Hageman was today's starter, so I'm going to give a collective pitching staff final line today. I don't want to just grade Hageman because Hageman was solid. He retired 9 batters before giving up a run again, before getting out of this ball game, before giving up 2 runs at least that we saw. But Justin Hageman and this collective pitching staff, because of how Nails, Brosman, and Reed Garrett were, I am going to give Mets pitching today a solid 6 to 6.5 out of 10. I'm going to go 6. Harder for me to go beyond that when we gave up 5 earned runs, but knowing how they finished this ball game versus how it started was the most impressive thing to me. I mean, Brosman was fantastic, absolutely lighting up there with the high velo, and then we saw Reed Garrett in his bag today, everybody. And I want to expand more on these Arsenals here for just a hot second because I was really impressed with what we were getting from them, guys. And again, continue to relay your thoughts, your opinions, everything in the chat watching live, and to our replay viewers. Thank you guys so much for hitting that like and subscribe on your way. And on this 4th of July holiday weekend, thank you guys so much for everyone that's going out of their way to spend their time, spend some of their day with your guy Wardy. I really do appreciate that. And again, be on the lookout, everybody. I will be live from Citi Field tomorrow, so make sure that you guys do not miss it. It is important. We will be live at Citi Field with a big group of content creators that you guys probably know very well. All thanks to our amazing sponsor at Moomoo, the official trading platform of this New York Metropolitan team, everybody. But let's continue on and break down more here in Metsland, shall we? So, guys, as we're going to get into right here, right now, this pitching staff, I'm going to give right around a 6. I think that's as high as I'll go because I was really impressed with how this bullpen finished. And on the offensive end, everybody, actually, no, before we get to offense, I want to break down these Arsenals a bit more. Like I said, not just on Hageman, but I want to look at Reed Garrett, how he threw his mix today, because he was insane. Reed Garrett was a dog today. Lucky ass game, enjoy. Oh, Nate, shut up. Miss me with the nonsense on the lucky game, you absolute schmuck. Lucky game. Yeah, I'm sure Chet McNeil's 400-foot home run to right was sure luck, right? Buddy, you had Justin Hageman as a starter for the Mets today. The fact that you couldn't win says a whole lot more about your baseball team right now than it does this Mets club. And I don't mean that as a slight to Justin Hageman, but Justin Hageman was only in the bigs today because the Mets have everybody and their mother injured and on the shelf right now from their rotation. You want to go there, we'll go there. If you want to be a sourpuss, that's fine, but why don't you go ahead and enjoy your 4th of July weekend? Because right now I can tell that you're being a little brat about it. As we continue on from here, though, everybody, on the pitching end, what I love so much, let's start here with Justin Hageman. Again, speaking of the devil himself, topped out 33 percentile there that we saw with the cutter, topped out 89 and sat right around 87. This sinker at 33% of the Arsenal topped out 95 and sat right around 93. We also saw the changeup at 22% of the Arsenal, topped out 89, sat right around 87. The slider at 12%, topped out 86, sat right around 84, 85, everybody. And that's what you got there from Justin Hageman. As we continue on, another pitcher that I want to get into is Brazo topped out 97 today. Looked great with that sinker, but it was that changeup that he utilized most at over 50% of his arsenal at his 3 strikeout inning. But Reed Garrett, guys, splitty. We saw 24% of the Arsenal, topped out 90, sat right around there 89. The sink piece at topping out 98 and sitting 97 when he threw 41% of the time. The cutter at 17%, topping out 94, sitting right around 93. And the sweeper at 17%, topping out 88 and sitting right around 87. Again, a brilliant and much needed, a dire need for this Mets team. And this is why I say to a lot of people, everybody, and I want to hear your opinion. I feel like it's going to be hard to have a contrasting opinion when you're a Mets fan because it's really hard not to be biased when saying this, but seriously, I'm not the only one that firmly is under the belief that the Mets have far more to lose should they lose this series this weekend than the New York Yankees. When you bear in mind the injuries to both these respective teams, when you bear in mind the depth that you have in the American League versus the National League, and I know the Blue Jays and the Rays have been playing great baseball, but do you really think the Blue Jays and the Rays are going to be sustained to be this good all year long? The Blue Jays are destined to cool off. Not that I wish it for them, I'm just expecting it personally. In the case of the Rays, we know that they are always going to be a great regular season team, but they're not going to get over that hump in postseason play. There is no reason to suggest suggest that that'll change this season until proven otherwise. In the case of the Yankees, they still have an absolutely clear line to get themselves, if not at least back to the ALCS, then potentially all the way back to the dance this season. And that is without Garrett Cole. That is without Luis Gil. That is without key pieces to the puzzles that they've had to the rotation this season. In the case of the Mets right now, even with Shamanai and Kodai Senga working themselves back, when you had a 4-18 stretch up until yesterday, everybody, the Mets were in more dire need than anyone else to find themselves getting consistent wins. They need to get this as a confidence boost. They need to get themselves in a groove. And if there's one positive to take away as well, is that while, yes, the Mets have a lot more work that they need to do on the defensive end, there is no denying that whatsoever. Let's see. Mista, happy to have you in the chat. Evan, happy to have you in the chat. All you guys watching live on replay, as you hit that like and subscribe button as we break down together in real time the Mets going on and winning this one by a final score of 6-5 in a huge dramatic home run fashion, led by Jeff McBombs and Juan Soto. But don't forget the Brett Bonds Baty in there, and this 6-5 victory. But to get back to this, everybody, the main point I was trying to make is that the Mets have been absolutely riding high at home. If there's one thing you could say about the Mets this season, even with the woes and the ups and downs that they've had this year, the one big thing that you got to emphasize is the fact the Mets at home, more often than not, have been nails. And today was a great example of exactly that, in direct part by rallying around the crowd. It was a sold-out crowd there that we saw at Citi Field today, 40+ thousand, and that didn't change the fact that, the Mets at home are just always locked in. Majority of the time, they've been locked in. And big games and big matchups, when the fans show up, it's really hard not for the boys to show up, because they have all this added incentive to go out there and play their best baseball. This is what brings the best out of players. It's championship winning, not only in the way that they perform, but in the way that the fans show up. And the fans show up for the Mets on, a normal summer day, or, a normal April game, or now 4th of July, all in unison, all showing up and selling out the crowd every single time. That's how you get the best out of your ball club. That's why smaller market teams that decide not to spend and have shit fan bases because of it, like the Chicago White Sox. Not that they have a bad fan base, but it's night and day versus like what is with the Mets right now. Among others, it's really hard to get these people to get up to actually want to go to games, as it is equally difficult for the players themselves to want to get up and go play, because they have really no incentive outside of the big bucks to go ahead and do so. Outside of that, it's very uninspiring baseball. It's not enjoyable baseball. But every single series at home this season has been electric more often than not with the fans themselves. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that. Wardy, if you see Michael K tomorrow from afar or up close, give him 2 middle fingers. I'm not going to do that, Kevin. I'm not going to act like the flea that he wants me to. I'm not going to, you know what? I'm going to pull the Michael K. I'm not going to associate myself with a lesser, if that makes sense. I'm not going to get any benefit by interacting with Michael. I'm not trying to work for Yes Network tomorrow, right? I'm very connected. A lot of good things to enjoy about Michael K as a human being. I don't think he's a terrible guy, but I think he absolutely talks straight out of his ass half the time. I think he's full of himself at times too. It's one thing to be cocky. It's one thing to be confident. It's another to be obnoxiously cocky about, just talking about, again, I love talking about the game. He loves talking about the game, but buddy, it's like, you're trying to step down on us, and yet you mean to tell me that you're not bothered by Mets fan remarks? If you're going to be a hypocrite, at least tell us to start the conversation that way versus making it abundantly obvious throughout the course of whatever it is you're spewing out there. Throw an ice cream at Michael K. No, we're not going to do that. Oh my God. Thomas Enrico Narvaez, how are you, my friend? Or is it Tomas? Is it Thomas or Tomas? I'm assuming Tomas, given how it's spelled, but happy to have you in here. And I miss Tomasino. Now that you said that, shout out to Nito Kane. I wonder what he's up to right now. From blue to green, how we doing, my guys? What a great game. McNeil and Soto they had awesome games today. McNeil and Soto were in their groove big time today, everybody. They were feeling it for sure. And the final things I have to say for everyone that I want to see this on live on a replay specifically, everybody, is as follows. A much needed Game 1 victory here to kickstart the Subway Series between the Mets and the Yankees. Before I cut this off for my replay viewers, because then we will continue on the live show for another 15 minutes for our live viewers, and that's going to be a perfect stop time. I'm going to be able to spend some time with my son and my lady today. We're going to fire off some fireworks tonight for our first 4th of July as a little family together, which I'm really excited about. And I'm actually very grateful that today's game was not a night game because of that reason. Usually I like night games, even on the weekend sometimes, because the vibes are better. But today I'm really happy that everything aligned the way that I did. Thank you, Mets, for making me not depressed today and us having ourselves a very enjoyable 4th of July. So as we continue on from here, everybody, let's break it down. So not only do the Mets have themselves obviously a fantastic 6-5 victory, but let's make sure that we didn't miss any key fun stats to relay your way before we continue on with just our live viewers. Let's see here, everybody. I don't believe I missed anything. I just know that There was a total of at least 7 home runs in this ball game. Good amount. The Mets also, they did something for the first time this year. Yep, for the first time this season, everybody, I apologize. It tied a season high for the Mets this year. They gave up home runs 4 times. So, tied for the most this season, the Mets gave up 4 home runs in a ball game that we saw. And if I'm not mistaken, did the Mets give up 4 home runs in a ball game against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium? I know that there was a game where the Yanks hit at least 3 bombs, I think, but I don't know if it was more than that. But that's all I got for you guys. So for everyone watching live, we're going to continue on the show. We're going to get into answering your comments, questions, and concerns. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate everyone that goes out of their way to watch live, as I do with all you replay viewers as well. Mwah, love you guys to death. But I got to answer your comments, questions, whatever you guys got for me in this one. I'm happy to oblige, make that happen. And again, guys, one more time, please make sure to check us out. You guys can not only see your guy Wardy tomorrow at Citi Field. Again, I will be at Citi Field tomorrow. You look out for your guy Wardy. I'll be more in a suite than anything else with my awesome sponsor at Mumu. But outside of that, I'll be moving around the ballpark throughout the course of the ball game. I might be in section hanging out in 115 for a little bit too, so be on the lookout in those respective areas. I will be at the center field concourse, everybody, 6th inning tomorrow. So if you guys are attending the Subway Series, you want to chop it up with your guy Wardy, people do it all the time. I'll put it on next, or I'll put it on the community tab. Come hang out with me throughout the 6th inning, the entire 6th inning, everybody. I intend to be hanging out in the center field, right where they have all the big scoreboards and stuff right there, right by Shake Shack, smack dab right in the middle, right by the drink stands and all that stuff. Just look for the short schmuck rocking the black Mets jersey, the black Juan Soto Mets majestic jersey. Look out for Wardy. Let's chop it up. Let's have some fun. Maybe you'll look out and we'll do a little segment together that I'll post on social. So again, if you guys want to chop it up with your guy Wardy, have some fun, maybe get involved in some content, be on the lookout for that, everybody, as well as the massive event that we have, everybody, that you guys can check out. That is in fact going to be transpiring on August 1st. Wow, guys, we're getting close to 200 likes in the live chat. Continue to hit that like and subscribe on your way in, and thank you guys so much for that. Help us get to 200 plus likes by the end of the live show. That would really mean a lot, everybody. But as I'm going to pin in the live chat right now, and I'll pin this to our replay viewers in the comments down below, everybody, make sure to check it out should you guys have interest. But yes, folks, we have our first ever official Wardy Day at Citi Field, August 1st, which means that if you guys have interest in purchasing the tickets I have available for you guys in the chat, you guys can click that link. It's pinned up there. Check it out today. You'll get a chance to not only hang out with your guy Wardy, but get the true premium experience. So without further ado, I'm going to let myself take it away with what Wardy has to say. It's Wardy here, and as you can see, we are at gorgeous Citi Field, and folks, you can get the ultimate, the prime experience with your guy Wardy at our first ever official Wardy Day. August 1st, Mets San Francisco Giants there for the evening game. The day after the MLB trade deadline, you, your friends, your loved ones, select Mets fans will get the ultimate experience with your guy Wardy. Not only are we going to hang out at the ball game together, but folks, look at the seating. We're going to be live here in the left field lounge. You guys will be able to chop it up with your guy Wardy. We're going to be debating as to who's the best pitcher of the rotation outside of Kodai Senga. We're going to be talking about who's the next best prospect to get called up. How do we feel about the trade deadline acquisitions? And guys, as you get back up here then, we are going to be giving you a $18 drink voucher, and with that drink voucher, you guys are going to be able to hit up the bars that we have right outside of here. So easy, so accessible. Again, prime seating, a truly fantastic experience. Our first ever Wardy Day here at Citi Field, guys, where you will get a chance to hang out with your guy Wardy. And the best part too, not only is it this amazing lounge in left field that you guys will hang out with me, but we're going to be on the field, pre-game access there for a group photo op. So I hope to see you, all you amazing Mets fans there. Click the link if you guys haven't already there to check out our available tickets, and let's go Mets. And not only are we going to be sitting here throughout the course of the ball game, you guys can also check out the seats that we have access to all here in the bar area here, right at the Milagro, where you guys can utilize your $18 drink voucher. Again, this is going to be at Wardy Day, August 1st, 2025. Oh wait, yeah, almost forgot. It's also fireworks night. Bang! Hope to see you guys there. Awesome. Again, guys, to anyone that's already having purchased tickets, thank you guys so much. I see Ryan in the chat who's really hyped for Wardy Day. I'm hyped for you, Ryan. We're going to have an absolute blast together. Again, expect Wardy to be absolutely running around all over the place in that left field lounge section, as long as it's a good ball game. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we'll be against a Friday night, the day after the trade deadline. You probably have new players on the squad. It's a big heated game against the Giants, who, for all we know, maybe the San Francisco Giants get on it here this month and are big buyers by the deadline too, so maybe there's great anticipation heading into it outside live, just hanging out with your guy Wardy. So again, thank you guys so much for that. To everyone watching live, let's continue getting those comments, questions, and concerns. And everyone watching on replay, thank you again so much for watching. Let's go Mets, baby. See you guys tomorrow live from Citi Field for our latest Mets coverage. Peace out.